For my media product, I produced a short film. I researched and identified the typical forms and conventions used in short films. There will typically be only one or two characters throughout the film, with one of them being the main protagonist. This short film, Signs, directed by Patrick Hughes, used this convention. There are only two characters, the man and the woman. However, its main protagonist is the man. I also use this convention in a similar way. Only two characters, the man and the woman, are present in my film. The main protagonist is the woman, as we see her life in a more intimate and detailed way, with the majority of the story seen through her eyes. There is often no dialogue, which is normally replaced by a voiceover. A Hopeless Romance, a short film directed by Travis Cook, used this convention. The whole film is narrated by a voiceover.
Not a bad looking guy, huh? Yep, just by looking at him, anyone would think, man, he's got it easy. Not a care in the world.
In my short film, I used the form of having no dialogue. However, I challenged the convention of replacing it with a voiceover. Instead, I relied on purely my soundtrack and diegetic sound for my audio. For example, when the woman is getting ready for work, I chose a sad and mellow song to make her emotions clear. I studied the common tool when constructing an effective narrative, the narrative arc. I constructed my own narrative arc and tried to identify whether I'd kept to its form. My first sequence of my film is the exposition, as it informs the audience about the plot, theme, setting, and main protagonist of my film. When trying to identify the complication in my film, I realized the complication is in the exposition. The woman's life is the complication. The relationship that we see develop is the resolution to the problem. I realized this is a film of progression, not complication. So in this case, I have challenged, then developed the form. The climax of my film is at the point the man gives the woman his note, followed by her discovery of it.
First floor. Doors opening.
The resolution of my film is more like the result of the resolution throughout the film. We witness their relationship forming and her happiness as a result of it. After identifying my key tools of a successful narrative, I reconstructed my personal narrative arc, which fits with Day by Day. I then started to look more specifically at the genre of my film, romance. We see at least one character's life before the two protagonists meet. This is so the audience already has some empathy for the character. I use this convention. The audience know the woman when her and the man first meet. The first encounter between two protagonists in a romance is very important. The audience need to believe in their attraction in order to be able to relate. A common form used in romances is the camera and editing on this crucial scene. In Titanic, they use close-ups of the characters and editing to form an eyeline match between the two characters.
You'll never get next to the likes of her.
I use this form in a similar way. The close-ups of both the characters and their eyeline match between them makes it clear to the audience the chemistry and attraction between the two strangers. Men are typically seen as the heroes who comes to the woman's rescue. I use this convention in the way that the man's gestures and presence allows the woman to be rescued from her unhappy and lonely life. However, I slightly challenge this convention because we see the woman following the man into the lift, which suggested she does not need to be rescued and can rescue herself. One of the two makes a grand gesture. I identified this convention as we see the key structure in a plot, which is commonly seen as the beginning to an end. I use this convention. We see the man give the woman her note and wait for her on a bridge. This gesture is what prompts the two to share their first intimate moment together, which we presume is the beginning of their happiness. The storyline will focus on the development of a romantic relationship. I use this convention as the main structure for my plot. We see the many encounters the man and the woman share. There will be a happy ever after ending. This is one of the most common yet important conventions of a romantic film. In Pretty Woman, we see the two characters getting together and living a happy ever after. I use this convention as we see my two characters getting together. However, I developed this convention because we do not see the man in the last scene of my film. We only witness the woman's happiness. I purposely did this as the main aspect of my film is the woman's loneliness. As we witness her in her purple dress, it is clear she has a happy ever after. This ending contrasts and challenges the ending of the romantic film Notting Hill.